The Trump administration is making significant changes to how it deals with student debt. It's resumed loan collections from past borrowers, and those changes could have a major impact on paychecks and credit ratings for lots of people. This month, 2 million overdue borrowers could be facing those penalties. Economics correspondent Paul Salmon has more.
About a year before the pandemic hit, uh, they started garnishing my wages. They were garnishing about $150 from every paycheck.
Sarah Bundy was in default on her student loans, but she was making just the minimum wage in New York State while working at a home for people with disabilities.
They garnished those payments for about a year, which brought me below minimum wage. And then COVID hit, and the garnishment stopped.
Garnishment, as in pulling loan payments out of a borrower's paycheck before she or he receives it. As student loan collections resume this summer, Bundy expects garnishment to resume too.
When the garnishments start again, it's going to tip us over into the poverty line.
Okay, let's take a step back for a second. How did we get here? At the dawn of the pandemic, the Trump administration had paused all student loan repayment requirements to help provide economic relief.
Student debt relief. And I'm honoring that commitment today.
The incoming Biden administration kept in place the payment pause while seeking to cancel some student loan debt altogether. That was ultimately shot down by the Supreme Court. So Biden then rolled out a program that enabled some borrowers to have their loans forgiven after a certain number of years. And then the payment pause expired in the fall of 2023.
If you take out a loan, you have to pay it back. It's very simple.
Fast forward to April of this year, when the Trump White House announced it would start collecting.
The Trump administration has made a decision to put back in place the previous system for loan collection, which includes wage garnishment.
Beth Akers studies the economics of higher education at the conservative American Enterprise Institute.
Unfortunately, I think these loan collection mechanisms that feel unsavory are a necessary part of the system. If borrowers have the resources to repay their loans, it's unfair for taxpayers if they don't make those loan payments. And so sometimes the federal government needs to use these means in order to collect those dollars.
Akers argues, as does the Trump administration, that the Biden administration was too soft on borrowers.
Ultimately, they used this sort of backdoor solution, which was to just make student loan repayment programs really exceedingly generous so that, in effect, people don't pay back their loans, even though they weren't technically forgiven.
Many borrowers we spoke with said they had been paying back their loans, but could only afford to cover the interest. Not a one had made much, if any, progress on the principal.
I took out like $13,000 in loans, and I'm at 12,000 that I still owe, and I've been paying for about 9-10 years now.
Kelly Castillo is a teacher and mother of two in Fresno, California.
I'm okay paying my money back because I used it to pay for my tuition, but at the same time, like, I've been paying for many years and it hasn't even gone down half.
There's another problem borrowers have with the new payback push. The official policy, quote, is committed to keeping borrowers updated with clear information about their payment options to put them on a productive path toward repaying their federal student loans, unquote.
Those words sound like we're coming after you and we're letting you know. We're going to put it in big, bold writing that we're coming after you. So I'm nervous about it. I can't say that I think it's going to happen one way or another because I haven't been communicated with.
Rochelle Brooks is a high school principal in South Central LA. She has 6 figures in student loan debt, her payments suspended temporarily during COVID. The drastically cut back Department of Education's guidelines, hard to follow or perhaps even comply with.
A lot of borrowers are falling through the cracks where we don't know where we lie. We don't know what the future is. We don't have any answers.
Like whether or not the undergraduate loan debt she took out to go to now disgraced, discredited Westwood College is actually forgiven, as she was told it would be.
I haven't received an update in years. Right out of high school, I was pretty lost. I was living on my own, not making good decisions, and I met a recruiter, and they said, "Hey, this is a school, we can help you. You'll finish your degree quickly. We'll get you financial aid, and we'll give you a job." And I said, okay, that sounds really good.
Sounded really good, but wasn't for thousands of borrowers in similar situations.
A lot of people that come from poor families, the recruiters from these private for-profit institutions find us and they know we're eager to get jobs, high-paying jobs, and it sounds good. And we just don't have a knowledge base to know what a predatory institution looks like.
As to the future, we heard the same lament time and again.
It's very confusing for what happens next.
Timothy Runkle still owes $32,000, the principal on loans he took out more than 20 years ago.
I haven't received a letter or an email from my loan servicer in over 8 months, or any information from the U.S. Ed Department about what will actually be done.
The main issue right now is running the existing system competently.
Economist Susan Dynarski.
At the beginning of the pandemic, the Trump administration suspended all student loan payments, which made sense at that time. But that freeze kept getting extended by month, year by year. So think of how many addresses change over 4 years, and banking details, and all of that information that you need to have up to date in order to make sure the payments go through properly. To sort of immediately move to wage garnishment in the midst of this, I think, is an unwise move.
People should be paying back their debts, shouldn't they?
I don't disagree that people should be repaying their loans. I disagree with the way it's being done. You don't deal with your frustration with people not repaying by grabbing their paychecks.
What are the macro implications? That is, for the American economy as a whole, if garnishment becomes widespread and people are suddenly paying loans that they weren't paying for 4 years.
That's money that's not available to pay for groceries and for rent and for buying cars and washing machines. So it has a deflationary effect. It causes the economy to contract. Think of adding a 15% tax for 5 million people between now and September.
At the borrower level, though,
I don't know what they expect people to do. I just want to tell my elected officials, like, here's my household budget. You tell me what to do here. I just don't see how we're going to be able to scrape it together. I just don't.
to which, says Beth Akers,
If there were no repercussions for not paying, nobody would repay these loans. And unfortunately, student loans that are not repaid either by choice or because they're unaffordable for borrowers become a burden that ultimately gets shouldered by taxpayers.
so in the end, an age-old economic problem. Who pays for debts? A little from everyone, or a lot from those who took them on but can least afford to pay them back? For the PBS NewsHour, Paul Salman.